Hi, did you like that sick No Game No Life video that came out yesterday? Well, now you're paying the tax on it. We're gonna do something a little bit different today and tomorrow to buy time. See, right now it is August 16th at 3:29 a.m. And the No Game No Life video currently has a page and a half or so done of what I'm imagining is going to end up being like 20 pages or something. I have to, get that done before yesterday for you. I know that for a lot of people, they would probably be shocked to hear that I could make that video as fast as I'm about to. But I think people's perception of how long it takes to make a YouTube video, or specifically how long it takes to make one of my videos, might be horribly skewed. And there's strange perceptions that go on when people talk about my videos about what stuff is high effort or low effort, or what stuff is like a real video or just like a nonsense video. I'm gonna run through some things and tell you what I think. This is my YouTube channel sorted by most popular. I've looked at this page countless times because obviously it's the best way to inform myself on what I need to do if I want to get the most views imaginable. Now in general, there are 3 different strata that I could grade my videos on. I could grade them on how popular they are, how much my core fans, my patrons, seem to care about them, and how much I care about them as products. And what we will find is that between these metrics, the idea of what is high or low effort has almost no bearing on any of those 3 metrics whatsoever. So my most popular video of all time is how to recognize a terrible anime in just one episode. This is comparably a higher effort video, mostly on the part of the Devu, my editor. For me, this was simply a matter of watching a few episodes of Gate and then bitching about it. Probably took a day to write this. I mean, there would have been 3 parts to this video series, and I probably wrote all 3 parts over the course of a few days, then handed them all to Devu one at a time. But I can't imagine that this took very long to do. I probably spent the most time just watching the episodes of Gate, and I didn't even watch very much of it. I only made it up through episode 5, and the only reason I watched that much was to confirm to myself that it was in fact going to be as bad as I say it is. Because even though I know that you can recognize a terrible anime in just one episode, I have to prove it by showing my work. So I watched through a few episodes so that I could reference them in the video and show how the things that were wrong with the first episode would continue to be a problem. But any of the effort and presentation here is all because the Devu, who I paid to edit it, did a good job. This video is fairly well liked by my patrons, it seems like. I mean, they don't really bring it up that much when talking about what are their favorite videos of mine. It was mostly just an excuse to complain about a show for a while, because I knew that that's my biggest cash cow, is when I just bitch about some bad anime that A1 Pictures made. So I went ahead and did that, and that was the main motivation. So overall, it's okay. Next up, why good anime is hard to make. This was arguably my breakout hit as an anime YouTuber. Now, personally, I think this video is pretty awful in all ways. Because on the one hand, the point that I'm trying to make is very fair. Like, I'm trying to say basically just, hey, if you like anime, spend more money on it, because if you don't, then you can't fund the shows that you really like. However, there's tons of misinformation in this video, such as the stuff I say about Studio Ghibli shutting down, and that being for financial reasons. That's all completely incorrect, as time would tell. I mean, the whole video was kind of built to be an advertisement for Under the Dogs Kickstarter, and that turned out to be a total failure. It looked nothing like this. It was a garbage OVA that I later complained about in a later video. The editing of this video is really poor because this was edited by my brother Victor, and he really didn't care. Because of the fact that he had previously edited a video about tracing the lineage of Cowboy Bebop, which he put a shitload of effort into. That was a video both of us put a shitload of effort into, and it got no views, and it was not highly praised by anyone. It is never mentioned as one of the people's favorites of mine. And it's because the video didn't do a good job of telling a story. It was just an info dump that was information I considered really interesting and that Victor considered interesting, and he had put tons and tons of effort into editing it, and he got almost no views. So with this video, because he was really frustrated by that, and he doesn't really enjoy editing YouTube videos, hey, there he is right there. Because he doesn't really enjoy editing YouTube videos, he basically just got sick of this one. His computer was also fucking up a lot at the time. It was like glitching out, and so his editing software was really suffering trying to fucking push all these images onto the screen. So there's just lots of weird hiccups. Most of it is just sliding still images. It's, you know, it's not that high effort of a video, but nonetheless, it is my second biggest video of all time. Generally, it gets brought up as a favorite by patrons and viewers alike, in spite of the fact that it is literally just a slideshow full of misinformation. Your Anime Sucks Sword Art Online 2. Now, this might be one of the most personal effort that I ever put into a video, but let me tell you, I made this entire video in the span of 1 week while putting out a video every single day on the main channel for an entire month. In the month of October 2014, I did the same thing that I'm doing right now. I put out a video every single day, and this was one of them. I edited it myself before I decided to start having Devu edit the future parts of this series. So this is just me in about a week working in the background in between making a video every day. Now, how do I feel about this video? I think that there are way too many just boring nitpicks that weren't really worth talking about throughout this series. I think that there's lots of stuff that either wasn't funny enough to leave in or wasn't enough of a complaint to leave in, because my approach was just to talk about absolutely everything. I also think that the music is kind of awkward throughout this video because I was copying Your Movie Sucks. I used a lot of the music that he uses in his videos. However, Your Movie Sucks uses these harsh cuts to static in order to transition between clips and music, which works extremely well. I somehow hadn't caught on to that technique when I was making this, so I just have each song kind of fade out and then the next one starts, and it never gives you any breathing room between paragraphs or songs, and so it all just kind of blends into each other, and I don't know, it's kind of like headache-inducing to actually listen to all the way through, in my opinion. Also, there's lots of just like on-screen text that no one really pays attention to. Granted, there's plenty of funny bits, and I'd like to incorporate more of the editing techniques I used in this video probably into future ones. This thing's also front-loaded with like fucking 10 straight minutes of just follow-up to the previous video, or I guess 5 straight minutes, whatever. Just me like justifying things I had said about the previous season. That probably wasn't necessary. So, you know, overall, I think it's pretty okay, I guess. Definitely one that my patrons tend to bring up as a favorite, and obviously the viewers love. Now this next one, Sword Art Online An Analytical Diatribe, this one doesn't even have any footage. This is my 4th most popular video with 1.1 million views. And the footage is just an unbroken clip of me playing Terra Online for an hour. Now the reason this happened is that at the time I hadn't developed the techniques that I now have for avoiding copyright on YouTube. So I was afraid that if I edited a full video for this, it would just get taken down instantly. And because of the fact that I didn't want to have to edit an hour-long video, I just didn't. And I didn't think this would be successful. I just thought, first of all, I didn't know that there were like other people who hated SAO, because I'd only really heard good things about the show, which is what inspired this in the first place. And so when I made this, I thought it was just going to be ignored, and I just thought it wouldn't be worth the effort to put in the time to edit that big-ass video and risk it getting taken off of YouTube. So overall, the effort that went into this video is that me and my brother Victor watched the entire show in one day. We just marathoned the whole thing, and we recorded ourselves the whole time because I had intended to insert footage of our reactions to the show all throughout this video. In fact, there's parts of it that the writing doesn't quite make sense, or I don't justify the things that I'm saying as well as I could have because I intended to put in these certain moments that I knew were in my recording. But because of the fact that that didn't happen, it's, it was just a woefully incomplete video even by my own standards at the time. And it's not as though the script took an especially long time to write. I mean, this is an hour-long video. I think it probably took 2 or 3 days to write the entire script. It took, like, probably almost a full day just to edit the goddamn audio. I was not nearly as good at just, you know, dry read-throughs of scripts as I am now, so I probably made a lot more mistakes. I'm sure it was nearly 2 hours of audio that I had to fucking cut down, but I mean, that's about it. It's just a few days of work, and it's got, you know, one of the most views out of anything. And of course, again, this is one that both patrons and you know, viewers alike have enjoyed. Now, this one is the one I most wanted to talk about. Konosuba is genuinely hilarious. This is probably one of the worst, lowest effort videos I have ever made. So, what happened here is that I tend to do this thing where I will go to my anime list. If I'm out of ideas, if I don't have any video I really want to make, but I need a certain number of videos to come out before the end of the month, what I'll do is I pop over to Mal, and I look at the current season, and I have it sorted, well, it naturally sorts itself, by most members. So if you have it sorted this way, it's a pretty good way to figure out what is the most popular show of the season. What do the most people on Mal have listed as something they're watching right now? And it's been fairly reliable. So during this particular season, Konosuba was one of the biggest shows on TV. Now at the start of the season, we had praised the first episode on the Weebcast, but I hadn't continued the show at all. So we're getting towards the back end of the season, we're 8 episodes deep, and this has risen up through the ranks to become like the 3rd most popular show of the season. So I'm like, alright, let me catch up on it and see if there's anything I can say about it, even though it's not even over yet, but maybe I'll find something to analyze. So I watched the first 3 episodes, and I noticed that there's this, like, continuing running gag that go through the episode. So, like, one episode might have something funny happen, and the next episode has something that kind of continues the train of thought, and I thought, that's kind of neat. That's it. That was the basis for this video. And that, you know, is talked about in the video, but the rest of it was just added in fluff to make it 6 minutes long so that it would feel like a substantial video. So I go on and on about, like, the history of anime characters getting almost hit by cars, and then I just kind of generally talk about Konosuba being, like, a parody and how, like, there's all these moments that signpost it, whatever. It's just me, like, rambling to try to bring the length of this video as high as I can. Now, the editing probably took, like, an hour, because it's mostly just slapped together clips that play for pretty long. A lot of them are just sped up. Like, throughout the midsection of the video, I played almost the entire OP at some point in here. Just, like, sped up to get past copyright. Yeah, like, right here, I play almost the whole OP. So that's literally as simple as slam a clip in and hit go. Now, because I did not 2-pass render this video, it also has all these really awful, like, artifacts and shit where the video just looks like dick. This video has almost 1 million views. This video has a gigantic like bar. Now, granted, my patrons rather, don't really talk about this video all that much. It's not like, you know, anyone's #1 favorite. But this is what, like, this shortest amount of effort imaginable, the least amount of thought imaginable. All that matters is that it was it had Megumin as the thumbnail because she was the most popular character. I found this thumbnail by just Googling Megumin, and it was like the first image result. So I slapped it in there, gave it a catchy title, and it was about a popular show. A show that has continued to rise in popularity over time, which is why the view count continues to rise. So this right here is just sheer evidence that effort and thought is completely irrelevant. Now, let me show you some other videos that took longer or more thought than that one. This right here is an AniTube rap cipher. For this video, the anime community every once in a while, or once a year I guess, they throw around a beat, everyone writes an anime-themed rap song over that beat, and creates a video, usually just with the lyrics on screen. Usually they don't even make an actual video out of it. So, writing the lyrics was not especially difficult. I probably did that in a few hours. Most of it was just me figuring out the most creative way to spin anime references into rap lyrics. And then editing the actual footage took probably like 3 hours because I was finding clips from so many different shows that I had to find, you know, exact moments that made sense for the lyrics I was saying. Obviously, I had to film a clip of me actually performing the rap. Then there was also the involvement of May, who had to write her own rap, and she's not a rapper, so it's not like she could just jam this out super quick. But she wrote a whole rap, performed it. We had to, spend some time doing multiple takes, mixing it so that it sounds good, editing all these clips to it and everything. And then adding the lyrics on the bottom. This is one of the most time-consuming edits you can possibly do, is having to subtitle a video, because every single line has to be typed out and fucking, pasted one at a time into this fucking thing. So, this would have probably been twice the effort of that Konosuba video. Now, I didn't expect this to be a popular video. By no means. Like, obviously, it's an AniTube rap cipher. Like, who's gonna care? I did it because I wanted it to be the best AniTube rap cipher that anyone was going to produce. So I put the most effort in and had the best lyrics and the best delivery and best flow so everybody would know that I was the king of AniTube rap. And that's the main motivation behind any of my videos that I put any effort into whatsoever, is just to prove that I can make good videos. Because I personally value making good videos. But making good videos is not necessarily rewarded. Because you can make a video where there's no editing whatsoever and still get 1 million views. You can make a video that goes from concept to completion in 3 hours and get 1 million views. You can make a video that's completely unscripted, that you just got drunk and sat in your closet and ranted for 30 minutes, and people can tell you it's your deepest, most meaningful video that they watch over and over again and it makes them cry. Everyone says it's their favorite, even though literally this was 30 minutes of effort from me. The editing was done by Devu, so I didn't have to do anything else. The amount of thought, 0. I didn't even watch Cowboy Bebop for the video. In fact, that's kind of part of the point of the message of it. Mob Psycho 100, this video's got over 500,000 views. This wasn't even my idea. My brother Victor came up to me, pitched to me an analysis video he thought would be interesting about the character, and then I marathoned the show to confirm if I felt the same way, wrote the script in an hour that night, passed it to Devu, who edited it in like an hour the next morning, I think, and that was it. And now it's one of my biggest videos. Why We Love Kuroki Tomoko. This one was like, it was towards the back end of the month, and I really needed a 4th video. And I, had already seen this show, so it's not like I was watching it for the sake of this. I think I turned the script out in like an hour, and then turned the editing out in like an hour. Meanwhile, here's Finish or Fail Full Dive. Now this was originally a 45-minute clip of me watching and reacting to the show. The amount of time it took just to record the initial clip and then to go back through it and cut out all of the stuff that I didn't like from it would have been longer than the amount of time it took to make the Kuroki Tomoko video in its entirety, probably. Then I went through and edited the footage so that I could add in interesting visuals for all the parts where I was just paused so that it wouldn't be too boring. And the amount of time it takes to render these videos is such that they're kind of hard to do for the video a day all month series because of the fact that rendering it takes so fucking long that it pushes me up closer to the deadline. So what's the point I'm trying to make here? Simply that what is to me a real video has little to do with how much time or effort went into it, because a lot of my personal favorites are ones that either took no time at all, it was just a really good idea, or were especially well written, and that's what I like about them, or where, like, the rap video, for instance, like, obviously I'm gonna like it a lot more than most people because I love rap, and I love doing raps, and it's fun to do, and I love watching it and thinking of the experience of having made it. There's also videos like the Old Ass Anime Cast series, which don't get a ton of views, but they are a lot of my patrons' favorite content of mine. Like, they'll come to me and tell me how they miss stuff like that, or any of the random podcasts I do and shit like that. If you asked me what is the best content on the Digibro channel in the last year, I would probably answer the Ghibli cast, because I find those discussions absolutely fascinating. I've had the most fun watching those movies, the most fun analyzing them. I feel like my analysis of those films is way deeper than any other analysis I've done on my channel. Like, if you want to talk about, like, the depth of how much thought I put into what I say in a video, the Ghibli cast is by far the highest. And it takes the most effort to edit because they're like 3 hours long, and I actually go through and scrub all the audio to remove any times that people are talking over each other. So like just editing the audio of those alone takes 3 times the length of editing the video of like something like the Little Witch Academia episode, Awesome Episodes video, which I edited in 45 minutes. Then it comes to popularity, and it's totally irrelevant how much effort goes into the video. All that matters is the thumbnail and the title. So at no point does putting more effort into a video actually benefit anyone. It doesn't benefit me unless it's a video I wanted to do and it just happens to take more effort. It doesn't benefit the audience who really cares about my content because they can't tell anyways. They often enjoy videos that took me, a day, and then will complain about how a video that took me a week was low effort because they don't know what things are easy or difficult for me to do. And the broad audience just looks at the thumbnail and title and the rest doesn't matter. What am I trying to say here? 80-20, baby. Always follow the 80-20 rule no matter what.